Hey guys, it's Amy the Common Sense Cook, and today I wanted to take you on a walk with me. I've actually gotten over halfway done already, but we have a brand new road down from my house, and I've started to really enjoy walking down it. And as I'm walking, one of my favorite things to do is to listen to people talk, work on my education, because I'm still a work in progress. Obviously, you guys can tell that. I've been paleo for a year and a half. Over a year and a half. It'll be 2 years in March. And while I've seen a lot of improvements, it's obvious that my weight hasn't been one of them. And I've tried 100 different strategies, and I've given up a few times. I've decided to work out. I've quit working out. It's one of those really complicated things. So I listened to the Ayurveda Summit, and Ayurveda is like an old, ancient way of medicine and life, and they were talking about daily habits, and I've been trying to establish a daily routine of some sort for years. I'm just not one of those that falls into a routine very easily. And with my kids going to school, it actually has kind of helped, because I have to wake up at 6 o'clock every morning. And then I have a time period in the day that I have to go get them. And, it's called Dinacharya, it's called a daily routine, and it's the Ayurveda way. And you're supposed to do certain steps when you wake up every morning. And they're very cleansing and, are supposed to help you get your day started. It's really hard to do it during the week, but I'm trying to figure it out. But I kind of want to encourage you guys. I'm going to start writing a post. I've been wanting to write this for about a week on my health journey, because some things have changed. A little bit of background while we're walking. I've still got a ways to go. I have been overweight most of my life, and I've tried very hard since my kids were born to try to set a better example. When my oldest daughter was around 1.5, 2 years old, I really started researching organic food and, what's the best thing for her to eat. She didn't really care, because she just wanted to eat macaroni and cheese and cheesy hot dogs, but, I was trying to go that way. I also had some people around me encouraging me to learn how to cook. I wasn't very good at it at the time, but I did it. And, I thought things would get better. I felt better. But I ended up having kind of a mental health crisis. I found myself staring off in the distance and not knowing which way I was going, and ended up driving around for an hour and didn't even know where I was at. So, really, look at that. I'm distracted by the view. But I ended up going to a PCP, primary care physician, and they put me on Zoloft, I believe. And within 2 weeks, my mental health was thrown out the window, and I ended up having to stay for 3 days in a mental health ward. And I tell you, staying with crazy people for 3 days makes you really believe that you are crazy. And it was scary, and it was hard, but I think it's kind of what I needed at the time to say, what you're doing in your life is not right, it's not serving you, and things need to change. You're worth more than this. I'm going to take this off. I'm finally getting hot. Okay. And I decided that I was going to try to do more yoga. I was going to try to work out. I was going to try to move out of the bad relationship that I was in. And about that time I met my now husband. And things got a lot better. But at the same time, they also got a lot worse. My health started going down, and I would pass out for 3 hours at a time. I wouldn't even know, wouldn't hear a sound. I'd just be out, and I'd wake up, and it was 3 hours later. So I knew there was something wrong. And I went to the doctor. Thyroid was low, but within range. All those things that so many of us hear. It's low, but it's in range, or it's high, but it's in range. But the thing about it is even though it's normal, it might not be optimal for my body. Is what I've learned. And I struggled with this for several years, and then in 2014, I started paleo because I did DDP yoga. My husband ordered it, thought it'd be worth a try. I drank the DDP yoga Kool-Aid, and I decided to try paleo. I'm like, I tried everything else. Why not go gluten and dairy free? See what happens. First week I lost 5 pounds and I felt pretty great. Next week I lost a little more weight. I believe I ended up losing like 7 or 8 pounds before it was over. But then on April 27th, 2014, tornado destroyed my house. I was telling people this the other day because I had remembered it. The only thing we really recovered and still have in our new house, is shot glasses and the bottle of tequila we found that was on top of our fridge. We didn't find the fridge, but we found the tequila. We think it's probably because the bottle hadn't been opened. We're not big drinkers, so it had set up on our fridge for a month or so before this happened. So we were homeless, and I tried to stay gluten-free as much as I could, but I was having migraines, and I ended up going on coffee because when you're homeless and you don't have a coffee pot, like, how are you going to have coffee? And one of my family members got me a card to Starbucks, which was, in my heart, I was so overwhelmed with joy. I only usually, before I stopped drinking coffee, I only got to go about once a year. And that was a special treat for me. Gave me a migraine. And so I struggled for many months after that trying to get rid of coffee, because I tried decaf, I tried regular, I tried organic, I tried so many different ways to get coffee back in. And finally I just, again, I feel like this is my phrase of the day, it just did not serve me. So 4 months later, after the tornado, we moved back, and we were able to start eating paleo again. And by December, things still weren't working, my energy wasn't back, and I decided to go AIP. I talked about it with my husband, and he was going to be supportive, but I'm sure many of you know how that goes about getting your significant other to play along. I had a friend a little while after that told me I really needed to start taking a multivitamin. He had had surgery, and he had done a lot of research on these things, and he said I probably really needed a multivitamin and maybe some vitamin D. I'm like, okay. So I started it, and that was great. It actually has helped my energy. But now I take, over the summer I did a fit camp. That was fun, but they didn't do it for very long. I think they only did it for like 6 weeks. Kind of fell off. My energies got worse. Guys, you probably don't want to pay attention to this next part, but I noticed my cycles were off. It would happen for a few days. It'd stop for a few days. It'd happen for another few days. And this last time, I got really, really sick. And I decided to go back to see the witch doctor that's north of town. I think really he's just like a natural medicine doctor, or, I think possibly background in Ayurveda, because that's kind of the things he does. But I had seen him a month ago, and he had said I had cysts on my ovaries, and that was the pain that I was having, because all through September I had a low, dull type of pain in my lower back, and it wouldn't go away. And finally it started to really hurting, like bad hurting. And I was like, all right, well, I know I'm not going to be satisfied if I go to the emergency room, and it's going to end up us being charged for a $600 bill that we can't afford. So I was like, okay, I'll go see him. He put me on HCO. It's betaine HCO, and it's a digestive enzyme that's supposed to help you better digest everything. And I have actually noticed a great improvement in my digestion since taking it. He also gave me an antiviral and suggested that I probably have internal shingles and never take the shingles shot, which that's still remained to be unproven. But anyway, things got better until I started my cycle. And the day before, I got so sick, and I mean, I have kids in school, so I assumed maybe I had a stomach bug, but the next day when I started, it was gone. My sickness was gone. And I'm like, that's just strange. You know, I've heard of 24-hour bugs, but, you know, I just didn't think that was it. And my cycle did its usual thing, 3 days on, 2 days off, 1.5 days on, and then I got sick again. And I told my husband, I'm like, I can't deal with this. You know, I'm scared to death of this natural thing that's supposed to happen every month, and this is not how it's supposed to be. And I decided to go back to the witch doctor, and he said, your body thinks you're pregnant. He even asked me if I was pregnant, and said that I shouldn't be able to because I have my tubal ligation. And he said, well, you know that doesn't mean anything, right? And he asked me several questions, and of course they were always right on point. He's usually always right on point. I don't know how, but he is. And now I'm on new Passant, which is supposed to balance my hormones. The first 2 days, I think, were hell. They were hell. I felt like a pregnant lady. I was emotional. My moods were swinging back and forth, but I could tell if it was having an effect. And you know, the last few days have been better. My panic attacks are gone. We had the tornado sirens went off the other day, and normally I have panic attacks and this physical feeling of panic. And I stay calm. You know, a lot of it's on the inside. I don't like go crazy panic attack, but you know, a lot of it's really internal. But I have that awful feeling every time, and they're gone. I've been able to eat bread. Now, am I going to keep eating bread? No. My digestion sucked after that, so still shouldn't eat it, but I was just trying to see where my boundaries lay. And I've been happier. My moods have been more level. And, you know, I had, of all people, there was a lady yesterday that I met, and she said that she healed her type 1 diabetes, or type 2 diabetes, just by eating healthy and exercising. Oh, look at the sun. Isn't that great? And she was able to reverse her type 2 diabetes, which is awesome. And she said, don't stop. You might think that it's never gonna work, but someday it'll work. So guys, I'm about home. I just kind of want to tell you a little about my health journey. I'll probably write about it a little more. On my channel, I'm kind of wanting to transition, not just recipes, but talk about all things health related. Because, paleo is about a lot more than just food. And I try to say that pretty often. But I love you guys. If you have any questions or if you want to share your journey below, you're more than welcome. And I thank you guys for coming along this walk with me, especially if you watched all 13 minutes of this. And I hope y'all have an amazing day. Talk to you next time.